Welcome to the Ask Faleskini Podcast with a guest. I'm proud to present Karen Weaver and Adrea Peters. Karen and Adrea, welcome to my show.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you
We're happy
for
to be
having us,
here.
Peter.
I'm so excited to get to know you better. I read your bio and there are so many things, and I would like you to introduce yourselves to our audience so that audience get a feel of where are you coming from, who you are, what you represent, and how did your book come about? What was the idea behind the book?
Yeah, go for it, Karen. You start.
Okay, thank you, Adrea. Okay, well, I am an author, publisher, life philosopher based in Perth, Western Australia, but I'm from Ireland. That's an Irish accent you hear, and it's not going anywhere. I have 6 children. I love writing, and Adria and I have connected through writing, and so we both have the same North Star in life, and so we come together in this beautiful magic of working towards the same dreams. And even though we're so different, we are such opposites, you would never put us both together, yet we harmonize so beautifully together. And that's how we found Heart Frequency, is we lived it first before we wrote it. Over to you, Adrea.
All right. I'm Adrea. I live in Vermont in the United States, and live on a little mountaintop in just outside of Middlebury and Burlington, and I have 2 dogs and live quite a solo life. I am a writer first and foremost. I love nature and science, being outside, understanding how we are all forces of nature and that we are completely connected. We're not separate. And so understanding anatomically how we work from a physiological perspective, and especially the heart, when we started doing this work and realizing that the heart is the first thing that forms within you, that's the first thing that happens, is that heartbeat. Think of when mothers and fathers see that, what's the first thing they see in that ultrasound is the heartbeat, and that's all that you can see is the heartbeat, right? So, and that is what Karen and I discovered in this process. Something we already sort of intrinsically knew, intuitively knew, was that your heart is actually your guide. We've both spent years and years exhausting ourselves, exhausting our brains when the heart, had we focused on the heart, how we focused on regulating our heart, both emotionally and physiologically, magic can happen so much easier. It's just such a beautiful thing. And that's what keeps Karen and I together. So it was just sort of this living example, because our hearts, our intentions were always exactly the same, even though this is how we go in life. We always come back to heart. And so that was what was really exciting about writing this book together.
Yeah.
Amazing. I'm humbled because you're both such good authors, and I'm just starting my author journey. And I would like to ask you one thing that I get to see in my wellness practice daily. You said that you both went through years of exhaustion just because you didn't listen to your heart. And I would like to ask you, what's your opinion? Is it possible when we are in survival mode, in constant fight or flight, or even freeze mode? Is it possible that in that mode that we can listen to our heart? Is it possible? Or we first have to get ourselves out of the survival mode, out of our fight and flight tendencies, in order to be able to listen to our heart?
We're both about to bust out of the gates with this one, aren't we, Asia?
Go for it.
It is vital that you connect with your heart to guide you out of those things. It will it will guide you, and because our nervous system is something that we should not just take for granted. We need to take care of our nervous system. And heart frequency does that. The vibration that you have whenever you come home to heart. And, because we get so tired because our brains are leading the way all the time. You let your heart lead the way, you're not going to be so tired. And you're not going to get, you're going to see the signs whenever you're going to hit, whenever things are going to. So, I've hit rock bottom in life. I've experienced it. Wasn't pretty. I didn't fear it though. I understood it because I had worked in mental health, so I understood it. But when I was at rock bottom, I needed love. I needed to keep me through, and coming back to my heart. But I think of it as it was like my cocoon period. And then whenever I come out, because I did the work, I didn't ignore it. I had the courage, and I always kept coming back to love, because I'm a great believer that love is the highest frequency. And when you choose love over fear, you will never lose. You will always find your way. So, I understand people in fight or flight. It's so many people in the world are in it right now. And heart frequency is the answer, isn't it, Adrea?
Yeah, it's not as complicated as people think, right? I think that's the problem. Like they think I have to get out of survival mode. Something big has to happen. A pile of money has to land on my doorstep. The man or woman in my dreams needs to knock on the door. And it's not that complicated. It's not that difficult. It's not such a giant leap forward. It can be as simple as saying, and this is what we talk about in the book, that, hand to heart, I'm safe. Nothing's actually happening to me right now. These are figments of my imagination, and I can change my imagination to just go, oh my God, there are trillions of cells moving through my body, keeping me alive right now. Right? The simplest thing, my heart is still beating, even though I'm not having to ask it to. My eyes are focused. My ears are listening, right? It's very simple things to just regulate. And I'm sure you do this, Peter, in your practice. I'm sure you talk to people about the simplicity that's always available to you. I think that what's happening in the brain, and there's so many studies on this, so, I know people know this, but that your brain's job is to keep you safe. Even just saying, thank you, brain, for realizing that I'm scared. Thank you for reminding me that this is uncomfortable. So what could I do in this moment to try to be just a little bit more comfortable? That might be as simple as, for me, like washing the dish. Anything with water flow for me is very soothing. So I wash the dishes, or I mop, or I take a shower, or I water my garden. Anything where I'm seeing, for some reason, for me, and I'm probably like a lot of people, Karen and I just pay attention because we wrote a whole book about it, right? So we're paying attention to the little things that get us back into this, what we're calling heart frequency, which is basically saying, we want your vibration. Your body is oscillating. You're not solid. You're constantly moving. Everything is oscillating all the time. And whatever that vibration is, the speed to which it's moving is what creates frequency, right? So we know that if somebody strums a guitar, the vibration of the string is saying that's a G note or that's a D note, exact, right? Or in light, we know that, this particular speed of light is red and this one's blue, right? It's the same thing is happening with your heart, in saying when it's regulated, when it's not moving really fast, when you don't have an elevated heart rate, everything is regulated. So everything, your prefrontal cortex can go, oh, okay, I'm safe. I can expand. This is where your imagination is, right? This is where your possibility lives. But when you're contracted, possibilities, you just can't see it. It's like, I'm sure you guys have done this, like you're freaking out, you can't find your keys, and the keys might be right there, but you are going to walk past them 15 times because you're too wound up to even see, right? Because you're late or whatever. So I think it's remembering the simplicity of getting out of that panic mode that is quite literally will save your life.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. I would, so, sorry. I, I have a question, and since you're talking about heart frequency, and I believe that um, I believe with my whole heart that this is one of the basics of how we can go from burnout or I also work a lot with the patients with midlife crisis or severe midlife crisis, not just a sports car and divorce.
Yes.
so, um, so would you say that it's possible to solve any of our problem by concentrating on our heart? And as you said, our heart regulates a lot of things.
Mhm.
And you mentioned the frequency of love. Uh, would you would you care to explain to our listeners, because we hear so much about, or we are bombarded with love is the way, and
Mhm.
love is the message, and all this stuff. But what is the number one practical step we should take to feel love, not to declare, to feel it? Because I believe the biggest problem is it's really easy to say casually, I love you, and everyone loves you, and you're so lovable, and la la la. But how do we start feeling love? How do we stop accepting love? Can we talk about accepting love? How can we open our heart to love? Because love is all around, but we have to see it. Because we either see world as really dangerous place, or we can see it as a place full of love. But it's the filter that we that we
Mhm.
engage that matters. Can you help us engage the filter that will help us see or feel love?
Well, it's all about choices. We all have choices. And if you're not choosing love, you're choosing fear. There's only two choices. So love is where all the good things are. And you explained it really well there, Peter, is that there's two different worlds that we live in and what we can experience. And I experience like I love life and it loves me back. I experience a good life. I'm seeing it as a good life, full of opportunities that I'm in control of, and that I'm safe to bring my kids into the world into, and they're all of those things. Whereas if I'm choosing to watch the news and listen to all of the negative, all of if that's what I'm absorbing and not putting love into my life. And remember, love starts with ourself. We can't receive love from others if we don't love ourselves first. And one of the things that I've witnessed and experienced is as we experience life, we start to protect our hearts, and our hearts get like not a physical hard shield around it, but a protective shield where we start to protect our hearts. So it does take courage to live in heart frequency, but you have to have faith that heart frequency works 100% in your favor. It's got your back. It's going to guide you and lead you to the best case scenario. It's going to help you vibrate at your higher self so that you call in and have wonderful experiences in your life. And whenever you have adversities, which we all have adversities, Adria and I are always experiencing adversities, but whenever you're leading with heart frequency, adversity doesn't knock you over as much as it does whenever you don't lead through your heart. And we've experienced it, we've tested it, we've written about it. And the wonderful thing about the book is, and this is where Adria's amazing genius brain is, you get to understand. We give you the knowledge so that you can understand, because knowledge is our brains like knowledge. And then we can understand something more. Then we can open our hearts and our minds to it more and have the courage to experience it, because it does take courage, I think. But whenever you start to feel, and you feel the rewards of it, and you start to feel that light from within you, it is like a light, it's like a glowing light. It's the most beautiful feeling in the world, and we want everyone to feel it, know the power of it, know that every single person has it within them, and they have access to it if they choose to.
Yeah, picking up on what Karen was saying around one of the most important things in the book is we talk about sort of the micro level of something, the meso level, the middle layer, and the macro view of things. So at the micro level of love is self-love. There is just absolutely no way that you can receive love or emit love if you're not actually giving it to yourself first. And again, I know it's quite trendy and annoying, but it actually is the truth of the matter. If you can't give yourself a break, and that's what I mean by love, if you can't say, you know what, I'm totally flawed. Karen and I are total opposites. I am quite fiery. I am quite passionate, as we like to say. So things piss me off, and I like to give them voice. Um, and that's part of my charm. That's part of who I am. I embrace it. I am also one of the kindest, most generous people around because I have this love. I love humanity. I love this planet. I love that we're living life. I love that there's music in the world. I love that there's art in the world. There's just so many things that I love. But it does have to start with self. You have to say, it's okay that I'm this way or that way. It's okay that I have preferences. And it's okay that I want to celebrate who I am. And then it goes to what Karen started with was choice. You have to then start to make decisions about who you're keeping company with and what you're watching on television and what conversations you're having on a day-to-day basis. One of the exercises we use in the book with everyone is to say, what genre are you living in? Right? Are you living in a horror movie where everything is a monster and you're there with your axe trying to chop everybody down? Are you living a rom-com where everything is a little bit hilarious and roller coastery, and you cry and you love and you kiss and are you a detective novel where you're constantly, or detective genre where you're constantly looking to see what lurks in the corners and who did it and who's going to get justice for it, right? Like, what are you living? Are you living documentaries? Right? It's such a good exercise. It kind of takes you up here for you to say, like, wait, what are the choices that I'm making on a day-to-day basis that actually make me feel good? Because the journey to feeling good is the journey to love, right? To not putting yourself on this roller coaster on a day-to-day basis that makes you have to do all this work to get stable again, right? To just, when something controversial happens or sort of it makes you angry or makes you feel something unfair, like take it as an invite. Take it as an invite to expand who you are, to expand your knowledge, to test to see, is this really about me or is it about them? Right? And all those sorts of exercises that you do for yourself to try to go back to, how do I feel right now? How do I feel in this moment right here, right now? If I feel good, I'm going to do more of that. If I don't, I'm going to do something that's going to help me to feel good. And this is what we are constantly saying, like, get into your heart frequency. We mean dance around your kitchen. We mean call a friend that always makes you laugh. We mean watch bloopers on Instagram. Whatever that simple thing is, I'm always going to take people back to simple, because if it's not simple, your brain will not make that connection. Your brain has to be simple so you don't start overthinking and over delivering and overing.
Start avoiding, because if it's hard to do, you're going to go, oh, I'll leave it till later.
Exactly.
Like even a song, isn't it, Adrea? Music. Put
Yep.
on a song that just gets you there straight away. It's beautiful.
You both touched something, and I would like to have it more explicit, and if I understood correctly. So most of us, because our heart was broken in the past, we start shielding our heart. But that does not build resilience. The resilience can only be built with the right heart frequency, with having let's call it open heart, and do it only if we emit love, we can get love in return. Not if we start shielding from love, not to get hurt. Because the popular opinion right now is, okay, you got burnt, don't do the same thing again. What was that thing? Should we just close down to everything, to all the opportunities, to all the good relationships, to all the good events, or in order not to feel disappointed? Or should we say, okay, that was a lesson, I did something wrong, maybe I need to learn something, and go from there and say, I'm gonna invest more love into that. I'm gonna invest more heart. I'm gonna try to synchronize with the heart frequency more often, because you already mentioned it just coming in this moment here and now, and think about all the good things, and suddenly our heart frequency, let's call it, improve, and we get this amazing power just by being here and now. So how can people go from making a shield around their heart to making their heart the biggest, let's call it, transmitter of love towards the world, and also their filter? How should they stop using filter for good not to come in, and start using this filter for all the good to come out, and also be able to accept all the good that is around us?
There's so much in that, isn't there, Adrian?
Yeah, beautiful.
It's beautiful, and it's beautiful to think of. Well, let's put it like this. If you've had a broken heart, it means that you have experienced love. And experiencing love is something that you should never regret, because love is important. Maybe it doesn't work out. We will all have a broken heart in our lifetime. And
Hopefully, hopefully, right?
yes,
Hopefully.
hopefully, absolutely, Adrian. Because that means that you've experienced love, and love is, and once you've experienced it, you can tap into it. You've experienced it. And I heard one time from someone that, and I can't remember who it was, but it was that, you know, what you miss about the other person is how you felt, how you felt in that. So you can always feel love. You felt it. You can always go back there. So you have to understand that you have that power and that control within you. And it's important to grieve, learn the lessons, and move on. But this is part of life. We are human beings. And as human beings, our default is to go to protect ourselves. And that hasn't changed in many, many, many thousands of years. And so with heart frequency, we ask you to choose different, to not go to the default, to start the habit of making your default heart frequency, and trusting and having faith in the experiences you have in life, like experiencing love with someone or experiencing something that lets you down is part of your experience of life. And so you should be grateful for it. And when you go into gratitude, that's a heart frequency, all of those things. So an appreciation and all of those beautiful things.
Yeah, the heart loves gratitude, doesn't it? It loves grace. It loves gratitude. It loves loving what you learned. The thing about it, Peter, is also that a belief like that, like I need to protect my heart, that's just a belief. Beliefs from a story perspective coming to you as authors are ghosts. Those are the ghosts that haunt us, are these beliefs that are holding us back, right? So we have to shift that to not being a ghost, or we're constantly going to be haunted. And just as Karen was saying, when we feel something, you can either feel the wonderful things that happened while you were with, and it can be a job, it can be a lover, it can be a friend, it can be a family member. Feeling those happy things that happen sets you free like that. But if you go down the scary path of all the bad things that have ever happened, you're going down in doom and gloom. Either can work. The great thing about emotions is they know no time or space. They just are. They're frequencies that you can tap into at any point. So if you decide, I'm gonna rehash this old thing again, you're right back there. If I talk about a breakup I had in junior high, I am literally, people think that we can't time travel? Yes, we can. With our emotions, we can go we're right back in that schoolyard, feeling those terrible feelings, right? What about when your friends comforted you right after that, and how much fun you had, and then you sort of made fun of that person? Not great, but it's a way, it's a leveling up of your emotions to then finally say, oh, we're friends now and everything is great. We can either remember the breakup or we can remember the love that we experienced, right? And the same thing is true again, like of a job, of anything that is haunting us. I love thinking of those memories as ghosts that we either make friends with or we let haunt us, right? And the same is true when you have a dream. If you don't take steps toward fulfilling that dream, it anything is possible, and anything is possible, and I can have anything that I desire. I can do this. I can find the way through, right?
Doing it. We're doing it.
I'm doing it,
Adrian,
right?
isn't it about stories we tell ourselves? Like we can
Yeah.
change the stories from the past, and that will change our experience of those events in the now. And it's the present moment that is the time that is. You know, this is the only thing that matters because it's creating our future moments. So our present is where it's at. Our present is where we're making the choice. Our present is where we're asking you to experience heart frequency in this moment right now. Allow yourself to come into your heart, just to feel it, to ignite it. And it'll take a little while, but I feel it physically whenever I go into it. And Adria, don't you feel it as
Oh,
well through?
definitely. And anytime that I start to go backwards or slide backwards, I go, oops, whoops. Just have some fun with it, guys. Like don't beat yourselves up, right? Be more gentle with yourself. Treat yourself the same way that you would treat someone you care deeply about.
Yeah, I often say when talking about how present can change the future, I also believe the present can change the past because
Hmm.
in the present
Yes.
we decide whether the past was a lesson or it was a punishment. And I do believe that if we control our present, we, we can change our past and we can change our future. And I do believe that that is also why it's so important to start. Maybe managing is not the right direction, but using the frequency of love in order to change our past, to transfer it into the lesson and transfer it out of the punishment that we see it as, and our future as an exciting times ahead, even if we know that not just good things will happen. But if we have an open heart, we should be resilient to that. So, before we conclude, what would be your number one advice for our listeners how to tune into your heart frequency?
Be kind to yourself, lay off the expectations, take some time, go for a walk, just do something different that you usually do. Just being kind to yourself and choosing love all of the time. You know, if you're choosing love, then you're choosing heart frequency. And just to take and just to do the practice. We've got a beautiful practice in the book that you can do and that will bring you into heart frequency. And once you start doing that, have it as your default, have it as your default and wait till you see the instant changes around you and how you see and experience the world and everything. The world needs heart frequency and it starts with us. We need to start with ourselves, be that, and then that will vibrate out into the world.
My advice would be to constantly check in with your body. Notice if your heart is racing. Notice if your breath is shorter. Notice if your tongue is at the roof, resting in the roof or the bottom of your mouth. And the second that you start to feel like you're going down a path toward not feeling as good as you possibly could, to do that one thing. Again, for Karen, like it's for us, we have music that is a really good one. Find a song. Right now, I'm listening to "Moving to the Sun" by Hugel, who's a French DJ. It's a remix, obviously, and I just have to hear like two or three chords of that, and I am boom moving.
Yeah.
But it is important when you're interacting with people to go, oh wait, how am I doing? And if you're not feeling as good as you might, or your heart, this what happens for me, my palms start to sweat, heart starts to race. hand to heart, even when you're, in a meeting and you can still do that. And just giving, this is a signal to yourself, to your heart, to your brain, I'm safe. I'm okay. Everything is okay.
Thank you for all these amazing insights. Before I let you go, I know you're super busy, but I will take another minute of your time. Where can our listeners and viewers get in touch with you, and where can they buy your book?
Well, the book is available everywhere online and in bookstores from November 7th, but you can go and pre-order, and we would love you to go and pre-order. And Adria, where can they find us?
Heartfrequency.com is our website, and that has all the links to all the things, and you can reach out to us from there. We would absolutely love to hear from you. We love you, and we're always wishing everyone well.
Absolutely.
Thank you both. Thank you for all these amazing insights. I really like how you make it seem so easy, even if we were talking about really hard topics. And thank you both for being my guests tonight.
Thanks, Peter.